Good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. I'm certainly glad to have you today. And as always, we want to thank BTC Fiber for hosting our program. And you can see these interviews on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's cable channel 18. Also, would like to thank our sponsor in Kim Fuller, Berkeley at Needful Things General Store on Highway 127. Go by and check her out. She might have things there that you might need, might have things you just want. So go by and check her out. I'm sure she'd appreciate it. And today we have with us Carolyne Knight. She's director of the Bledsoe County Library. So Carolyne, thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you for wanting me to be here.
First, before we get into the summer reading program, let's talk about a little bit about the history of the library and how long it's been around and some of the things.
Well, officially, what we have on our website and everything is like 1951. Of course, you understand back then it was like maybe in the Bledsoean, there'd be a shelf and it'd have some books on it. And then they were, I think, upstairs over where Howard Up Church's office is now. And then they got a room at the Board of Education. And then we got a little room built out on the courthouse that faced Spring Street. And then in 1991, we got the new library. And but of course I wasn't around. I wasn't around for all that. I just know the history.
Well, that's neat because you go from, and a lot of rural libraries started that way. Just a shelf in some store or something.
Right.
And then they develop, and then when people actually see the need for an actual library to be built, which is a good thing.
Right. I believe it was like Upper Cumberland region, and then I think TVA had something to do with getting libraries in small towns and rural areas.
Well, it's very much needed. I think a lot of times rural areas get a bad rep sometimes about people that don't read. They're kind of uneducated, but when I've been here in Pikeville, I've seen people come and go constantly out of the library. And
that's certainly not true for Pikeville and Bledsoe County. Not everyone by any means is doing their reading, at the library. But I have found that we have people that read huge amounts of books, and they have particular interest. And if they get started on one author, they'll read every book.
Yeah.
And they want to read them in order.
Yeah.
But we can cover that because if we don't have the book, we can borrow it. Like we have an interlibrary loan.
Right.
And it takes about 3 days. We have a courier service, and they pick up and they drop off. And we loan out books too. Small, but we loan out maybe 1,200 books a year to other libraries. Yes.
Wow, that's quite a bit, really.
Yeah, it's a great service.
And even though your library is small, when you get inside as far as your circulation, you still have quite a variety of books.
Yes. We, so to speak, we pick the books. What I try to do is do what the local people want to read, not what I want them to read or what I think they ought to be reading. But I try to go by that. And then we have to weed.
Right.
Things that are not moving, you weed them, and then you have a book sale or something, or give them to people who do want to read them, and then you've got more room. But
right. And I noticed the other day when I was here, you have a section for local authors.
Yes. It's surprising how many there are. I think we have about 25 books by local authors.
Really? Wow. That's
Some
great.
of them going back quite a ways. Yes, it's.
Well, and too, talking about local authors, when you think of rural areas, you don't think about writers.
Right.
Rural areas, a lot of times you think about farming and things like that. You don't think about people that write. But I know some of your authors that I've met, and good people and very knowledgeable about their stuff. But it just takes putting pen to paper.
Right. Well, yes, in a way, it's kind of like Tommy Swofford started that. He did the Bloody Bledsoe series. And then, of course, the Historical Society did 2 pictorial histories. But to go back, I saw that there was a lot of interest in local history.
Uh-huh.
Well, when we moved over here, we had no books about history or local history, not genealogy, not family. And so I started collecting everything I could get, and Tommy spent a lot of time over here, and then other people just started getting interested.
Yeah. Well, that's neat because when you get into local history, you have people that are. I know Bledsoe County has had people move in from, out of state and things.
Right.
Like Sequatchie County has, and you have people that don't know the history.
Right.
And it'd be good for them to learn the history.
Well, I learned something new just about every day about our history, about people. It's really the stories of people that I'm interested in. I write a little column every once in a while for the paper about the local history, and a lot of people are like, they just move from place to place like gypsies, with their
Yeah.
careers and everything, and they're just amazed that we know our history.
Yeah. Well, that's neat for people to have, because especially maybe the young people that are growing up that don't know all the back history, and maybe don't. They might know some of the family names around, like Swafford and other names, but they may not know all the backstories.
And of course, I couldn't say enough things about Miss Elizabeth Parham Robnick.
Yes.
Someone famously said she wrote the book on Bledsoe history, and she did. She did the
Right.
Bledsoe County history, and then First Families of Bledsoe, which is I might say more about the people, and the others actually about the general history. But there's still a lot of history out there, and we're still looking.
Well, now, if someone wanted to come to your library, what are your hours? Because I'm not familiar with those.
Well, you need to check, but right now we're open Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 until 5. And that's Central Standard Time, of course. But you'd be surprised how many people come and they're like, they think they're on Chattanooga or Ray County time, and they think we are, and we're not. And then on Wednesday we're open from 10 until 6, and on Thursday we're open from 10 until 1.
Oh, okay. And let's talk a little bit about your summer reading program that you got going on. I know that's a good thing because you want to bring children and get them to learn to read and enjoy reading.
Right.
And you have several programs even right here under our farmers market.
Right. We started doing them out here during COVID. And I was after you told me you wanted to talk about it, I thought, well, I'm going to see if I can figure out how long we've been having summer reading programs. Well, I know for a fact that we've been having them 37 years, and then I went back, and I believe that in Bledsoe County we've been having summer reading programs about 45 years.
Really? Wow, that's great.
And I myself have seen a lot of kids come through.
Yeah, you probably have some adults that are bringing their children now, right?
Right, exactly. Yes, it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
But it's a great thing. We're here this year. We've already had the kickoff, but we're still doing sign-ups and everything. And we're having here at the farmers market on each Thursday, and this will go on until the 16th, when will be the final party. Everybody that finishes, we're going to have a party over at Embers. Mr. Cliff, he's so good to us.
Yes, he is a good person.
And we generally have a very successful program, and it's I try to make it easy, not too complicated.
Right.
In fact, that's the way I try to run the library. Somebody said we were the easy library.
Well, that might be a good thing.
Well, yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, and roughly how many kids do you have in your summer reading program so far?
Just so far, I think we've got about 52 signed up.
Yeah.
But like today, we got more. We'll get more. There's so much going on in the summer.
Yes, there's all kind of summer schools and vacations, and it's hard to get everybody.
Right.
And vacation Bible schools and things going on that pull people everywhere.
Right.
And the summer reading program, reason I like it, it gives children, especially young children, something to look forward to,
Right.
something to do,
Right.
instead of staying home on devices. And I know technology now, people can read their books on their devices or even on their phones, but that's not like sitting down and actually reading a book.
Right. That's exactly right. And it's a good social thing, and also you've got something to show. You've got a certificate, an accomplishment to show that you did do something with your summer.
Well, do you have what's the age range for your program? Yeah.
Well, we have a listeners program, so if they're old enough to sit and listen, then they can participate in that. So, basically maybe 4 to 12. After 12, you don't get so many children.
Right.
Of course, we don't really have enough room to do everything we'd like to do. But
Right. I mean, I know some programs, they do all these events during their summer reading program. They have different things going on. And I think, wow, you've got a lot of stuff. But then I look at it, and they've got a room over here and a room over there. And, they're putting some age group kids over here and some over there.
Right.
And, of course, y'all don't have the room over here.
No, we don't.
To do that.
It seemed so huge when we moved in.
Yeah.
And then we started getting furniture and things, and it was like, but, it's nice outside.
Yeah.
We're actually hoping to make an area behind the library.
Uh-huh.
We need to sort of fence it in, to corral the little ones, because I do worry here.
Yeah.
And so that would be a big asset, because it's absolutely beautiful back there.
Yes.
And it'll be a lot quieter, and we've got 2 huge trees. So anyway, we're working on that. Well, the board is working on that. As you know, the library operates under a board, 7-member board.
Well, that would be good, because I know even some of the bigger libraries I've seen around Tennessee, they have an outside area where people can go and relax and actually just sit down and read outside under the shade trees, and that would be a good program for y'all.
Yeah, and we've got the room, and hopefully it'll come to pass.
Well, that would be good. I'd like to see that. That would be really neat. Maybe we can, as time progresses, maybe we can promote that for you.
Well, okay, great.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, and actually, it could possibly be an area that other people could use also, for outdoor things, maybe in movies or something like that.
Well, that's an idea. I know different places have movies once a month. They have they set a screen up somewhere and they have movies. And, so that would be another way to attract people. And we're talking about kids. What about adults? You have quite a few adults coming in.
Oh yes, we have. Some of the people I was telling you about have to read every book of an author. We have a lot of adults, and of course we also have the program, where we have free books online. So a lot of people do both. Some people rather just read online, and it's just.
Well, I know I used to have a Kindle, and I had no telling how many books downloaded, but I went through and got a bunch of the like the historical books, like Last of the Kings, things like that. I grew up with
The classics.
the classics, and
Hawkeye, was that?
yeah, and kids don't read those today.
No, they don't.
And I tried to encourage some of them to read. They said, "Well, this is boring," but it's just different kids, for a different time age.
Different generation. The writing is a little old-fashioned for them, and there's words that's not even in use anymore.
right. And speaking of that, they have different authors now that they like, and the writing is as you said, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I guess each generation has their own set of authors they like.
Right.
And can't blame them. And children's books, I was looking up when I was on the book bus a while ago. I love watching those books, seeing them, because the authors are talented to write a story on a child's level, and then get it all the artwork done.
Exactly.
And it's really neat. And if people could, I was talking with Christy Walker a while ago. We was talking about how reading helps writing, and writing helps the reading. They kind of go hand in hand.
Exactly.
And because reading, you have to do that all the time in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's read a newspaper, read your Bible, or if you're a legal expert, you have to go in and read all the legal stuff, and you have to know all your terms. It's just different levels for different jobs.
Exactly.
And even if it's working as a cashier, you still have to know what you're doing. reading is important.
Oh, it certainly is, and it always will be, you know.
Right, and when I was growing up, and probably when you were growing up too, people could get a job without knowing how to read or write. And a lot of people did. But that's not the case anymore.
No, and at the very least, you're going to have a high school diploma.
Yes, because now it just seems like it's hard for anybody to get past if they don't have at least a high school diploma, as you said. Well, what are some of the services y'all offer other than checking out books? I know y'all do some other things as well.
Well, we do boating exams. I do proctoring. You have people that are going to college and they need somebody to, proctor.
Yeah.
We don't want no cheating, right?
Yeah.
And we do research for people, somebody needing to know about a certain thing for a book or something they're doing or a program. We do many things that it really doesn't have anything to do with libraries. We also, early on, as I said, there was this thing about history and everything, and so we do things that are let me go back and get this straight. So I saw how interested everybody was in history, so I reorganized the Historical Society. There had been an older one, and it just took off like crazy.
Well,
so we did a book, a Pictorial History Volume 1, did it entirely in the back room there at the library, and then we did Pictorial History Volume 2. And they took up the books over at the Ross House, but then they moved over there so we could have our reference material. And so the library was very instrumental in having a place and the organization and getting those books out. And then we've somehow done several other things that you might not think have anything to do with the library, but like Mr. Billy Frank Wheeler came over one day and wanted to know if I'd help him with the restoration of the Ross House.
well,
so a lot of things that I've done and the library has helped with is not so much even books, but you need the traffic.
right.
You need the interest in the traffic, and a lot of libraries are doing things like this. People don't even know all that they do. And everybody does not have a computer. Of course, we've got
Right.
computers, and we've got 5G Wi-Fi. We have people sitting in the parking lot using their Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
and we can track that, and that's a good service. We can count how many people's using it, and there's just lots of things. So many I can't even think of all of them. When I get through talking and you leave, I'll be like, why didn't I mention that?
Well, the computers that's been more of a thing for a lot of libraries now, because a lot of people don't have computers. They don't have the money to purchase computers, or they don't have internet at home. And so the library could be a place where they could come, that they enjoy to come, and it's safe, and then they can work on whatever they need to.
They do. I'm glad you brought that up, because as you know, lots of places still are not getting good internet. Although the telephone companies are working on it night and day, and the boosters won't even work. So they just need something off the computer to print.
Yeah.
Or their printer's down.
Yeah.
Or they need to send a fax. They've got to send something to their lawyer that day. And there's just all sorts of little services like that we do. And that's what we would like to do. We like to help people out. That's the main thing that I enjoy. And we try to get anybody that comes in, we try to get something or tell them where they can go to find something or things like that.
So they can come in and get some help, and then you might let them check out a book.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of a nice little library, I think, and we try to keep it clean and attractive, and try to get what people need to read, and we sort of COVID has sort of messed everybody up, but
Right.
we used to have adult programs at night, on various subjects and everything, and I'd like to get back to that. But there again, we don't one time we had something, and there was so many people that I know that we were in violation of the fire regulations, and there was nowhere for anybody to see it. There was a huge crowd. It was about the caves of Fall Creek Falls,
Oh, yeah.
and so those always went over really well.
Well, you never know how many to expect.
Right.
You could get 2 and you could get 200.
That's exactly right.
And you just don't know what people are interested in until they tell you.
Right.
And, well, I like the fact that the small town libraries, to me, they're more friendly, because a lot of times you know the people that are there,
Right.
that work there, and you can talk to them as your friend, not as just somebody that works there.
Right.
And they can, like you
Right.
said, you can help them in a lot of areas that people need.
Right.
That's the good thing about it. It's just a small town atmosphere with really a big town attitude, really, because you've got the things that they need.
Right. And I was reading that a library they're one of the last places you can just come in and just be. You can just sit there, you can read a book, you can think, you can get on the computer, you can talk to the librarian, you can bring a friend with you and hang out. It's just a nice atmosphere, a nice place.
Well, and excuse me, it's quiet.
Quiet.
And sometimes you need to go somewhere where it's just quiet, where you can just get away and let your mind at ease.
We have a chair in the corner. We have a lot of people that do that.
Well, that's good, because sometimes I need that. I sit on my porch sometimes.
Right.
just to get away and just relax.
Right.
And of course, I can hear the birds and things chirping when I'm sitting on my porch, so that kind of is relaxing.
Right.
But well, that's neat. Well, what are some other things maybe we haven't mentioned? Anything that you can think of?
Well, not really. We've pretty well covered everything. And if anybody watching this has some questions, they can call me. And
what number is that?
it's 447-2817.
Okay.
And of course, everybody knows the area code, but it's 423 area code.
All right. Well, listen, I do appreciate you being with us today, and it's been very informative for me. And I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Right. I am too, and I appreciate you asking me.
No problem. Thank you very much. And again, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page, as well as BTC Fiber's Cable Channel 18. And we'd also, again, like to thank Kim down at Needful Things General Store. Go by and check her out. So until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.